Chapter 1. Why your reactions decide your entire life. Your life is not shaped by what happens to you. It is shaped by how you respond to what happens to you. Two people can live through the same event, a setback, an insult, a failure, and walk away with completely different outcomes. One person collapses. The other person gets sharper, calmer, stronger. What's the difference? Their reactions. Your reactions are your real power. Not your circumstances. Not other people. Not fortune. Not luck. Right now, in this moment, the most important mental skill you can ever learn is this. Do not give your emotions permission to control your actions. Because every time you react without thinking, you hand your power away. You let someone else write your story. You allow the world to push you around like a leaf in the wind. But emotionally controlled people, they live differently. They pause before responding. They think before speaking. They watch their emotions rise and choose not to obey them. This is not coldness. This is not suppression. This is mastery. Emotional mastery is the ability to feel everything, but do only what's effective. Think about this. Most arguments, regrets, broken relationships, lost opportunities, they're not caused by events. They're caused by reactions. A moment of anger ruins a friendship. A moment of panic ruins a decision. A moment of insecurity ruins a goal. One reaction can change everything. But the opposite is also true. A moment of calm can save a situation. A moment of patience can open a door. A moment of control can rewrite your destiny. So today, you begin training a new kind of strength. Quiet strength. The kind that doesn't announce itself. The kind that doesn't explode. The kind that doesn't need to prove anything. This strength shows up in silence. In the pause before the reaction. In the way you stay centered while others lose themselves. Your first lesson is simple but life-changing. Never react instantly. Reaction is the enemy of wisdom. Every emotional trigger wants one thing from you: speed. Your anger wants you to speak fast. Your fear wants you to run fast. Your ego wants you to defend fast. But fast reactions come from a primitive mind. The part of you that is still in survival mode. Calm reactions come from an evolved mind. The part capable of discipline, strategy, and clarity. Here is what controlled people do differently. They observe their feelings without acting on them. They say to themselves, I feel angry, but I will not react yet. I feel insecure, but I will not respond yet. I feel pressure, but I will not rush. This simple pause is the gateway to power. When you pause, you create space. And in that space, you choose. You choose your words. You choose your behavior. You choose your energy. People with emotional control don't win because life is easier for them. They win because their reactions are smarter than their emotions. They don't shout, they think. They don't panic, they breathe. They don't crumble, they adjust. This level of mastery turns you into someone who. Heavy checkmark cannot be manipulated. Heavy checkmark cannot be provoked easily. Heavy checkmark cannot be emotionally destabilized. Heavy checkmark cannot be controlled by external chaos. People start treating you differently when you stop reacting emotionally. You become the calmest person in the room. And the calmest person is always the most powerful. Not because they dominate, but because they cannot be dominated. Remember this sentence. You don't rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your reactions. That's why this journey matters. Not for motivation. For transformation. Today, you begin the work of becoming someone who can walk through storms without shaking. Someone who can face disrespect without losing character. Someone who can experience pain without breaking. Unshakable emotional control is built in these small moments. The pauses. The deep breaths. The discipline to not let your feelings decide your fate. This is where your new identity begins. With mastery over the very thing that destroys most people. Their reactions. Chapter 2. The hidden triggers that steal your power. Before you can master your reactions, you must understand what triggers you. A trigger is anything that grabs your emotions and hijacks your behavior, often without you even realizing it. Most people think they are reacting to situations, but in reality, They are reacting to unseen triggers wired deep inside them. If you don't understand your triggers, you will keep losing emotional battles you don't even know you're fighting. Let's break down the 4 hidden triggers that silently control most people. 1. Ego triggers, when your identity feels threatened. The fastest way to lose emotional control is to take things personally. Your ego gets triggered when someone disrespects you, criticizes you, ignores you, challenges you. Your ego reacts instantly. Defend yourself. Prove yourself. Fight back. But listen carefully. Your ego seeks victory. Your mind seeks clarity. Only one of them leads to peace. Emotionally strong people don't react to protect their ego. They respond to protect their growth. They pause. They analyze. They choose the outcome, not the impulse. You must learn this sentence. Not everything deserves my reaction. Say it often. It rewires your mind. 2. Emotional memory triggers, old wounds, new reactions. Sometimes you're not reacting to the present, you're reacting to the past. A tone of voice, a gesture, a certain situation. And suddenly your emotions explode. Not because of what's happening right now, but because of something that happened years ago. This is why emotional control feels difficult. You are fighting ghosts. But there is power in awareness. When you feel an emotion that seems too intense for the moment, tell yourself, this is not about today. This is an old wound trying to speak. That alone creates distance between you and the trigger, making your reactions easier to control. 3. Speed triggers, when you don't give yourself time to think. Many emotional mistakes happen because you react faster than your mind can process. Life moves quickly. People push you. Notifications bombard you. Conversations escalate in seconds. But your mind needs time. Your emotions need space. Without that space, reactions dominate. This is why emotionally powerful people practice what I call the internal slow motion effect. When something triggers them, they mentally slow down the moment. They breathe. They wait. They allow the emotional spike to pass. Then they respond with intention. It feels like a superpower, because it is. For validation triggers, when you need others to approve you. One of the most dangerous triggers is the craving for approval. When you depend on validation, criticism destroys you, praise controls you, rejection weakens you, opinions trap you, likes and attention dictate your mood. Your emotions become public property. But emotional control begins the moment you take back ownership of yourself. Say this clearly: my emotions are mine, not the world's. When you stop relying on external validation, you stop reacting out of insecurity. You begin acting out of purpose. Why identifying triggers makes you unshakable. When you understand your triggers, 2 things happen. You stop being surprised by your emotions. You stop being controlled by your reactions. You shift from being a victim of your instincts to being the master of your responses. Triggers lose their power when you can name them. Awareness dissolves emotional chaos. From now on, every time you feel emotional intensity, anger, fear, insecurity, frustration, don't focus on the emotion. Focus on the trigger behind it. Ask yourself, what exactly triggered me just now? Is this about the situation or something deeper? Do I need to react or do I need to observe? This single habit can rewrite your emotional life. Because the more you understand yourself, the less the world can control you. This is how emotional giants are built. Not by suppressing emotions, not by avoiding pain, but by knowing themselves with brutal honesty. Awareness is the foundation of emotional power. And once you know your triggers, you're ready for the next step, learning how to disarm them before they take control. Chapter 3. The pause, your greatest weapon against emotional chaos. If you want unshakable emotional control, you must master one skill above all others: the pause. It is the smallest action, yet the most powerful tool in emotional mastery. Most people think emotional strength is about suppressing feelings, becoming cold, or not caring. But real emotional power is this: feeling the emotion, pausing, and then choosing the response. This pause is the moment where the old you dies, and the disciplined you is born. Let's break this down. Why the pause changes everything. Emotions live in your nervous system. They hit fast, hard, and without warning. If you react instantly to that emotional hit, you are acting from instinct, not intelligence. But when you pause, something incredible happens. Your mind switches from reaction mode to decision mode. This shift is the difference between yelling or speaking calmly, overthinking or responding with clarity, acting impulsively or choosing wisely, ruining a moment or controlling it, losing power or gaining it. The pause is where the mind takes authority over the emotion. It turns chaos into clarity. The 3-second rule of emotional control. Here is a practical tool emotionally strong people use. When you feel a strong emotion, pause for 3 seconds before reacting. Anger hits? Because someone disrespects you? Because a stressful message arrives? Because your ego gets threatened? Because pressure rises? Because those 3 seconds allow the emotional spike to decrease just enough for your higher brain to activate. Your intelligence wakes up. Your awareness expands. Your control returns. In those 3 seconds, ask yourself, what outcome do I want from this moment? Not, what do I feel like doing? But, what will benefit me long term? This one question transforms reactions into strategy. The pause is not weakness, it's dominance. Weak people react fast because they lack control. Powerful people react slowly because they are in control. When you pause, you deny your emotions the power to dictate your behavior. You deny others the power to manipulate you. You make people unsure of how to control you. You become unpredictable and composed. You break the automatic patterns that have ruled your life for years. The pause is not losing the moment. It is owning the moment. People who stay calm in heated situations are not calm because nothing bothers them. They are calm because they mastered the art of not responding immediately. This calmness intimidates the world. The pause gives you time to see reality correctly. Emotions distort perception. Everything looks more threatening, more personal, more intense when you're emotional. But after a short pause, you see the situation with a clearer mind. Then you realize, the insult wasn't about you. The pressure wasn't as big as it felt. The problem had a simple solution. The person wasn't attacking you. Your reaction would have made things worse. Clarity is emotional power. And clarity only comes from pausing. The greatest leaders think before they react. Great leaders, athletes, warriors, entrepreneurs. They don't just react. They observe. They analyze. They choose deliberately. Even in extreme pressure, they create a mental gap between the emotion and the action. That gap is the pause. This is why they stay calm while others break. This is why they make strong decisions while others panic. This is why they win. You can build that same strength. How to practice the pause daily. Start with small situations. When someone talks rudely. When you're frustrated. When your plans don't go your way. When you feel judged. When you feel emotional heat rising. When your ego screams to respond. Instead of reacting immediately, take one breath. A slow, deep breath. This breath is the anchor of your pause. Then say silently, pause. I choose my response. You'll feel the emotional spike lose its grip. This tiny practice, repeated daily, reprograms your entire emotional system. It makes you mentally tougher, calmer under pressure, and immune to emotional manipulation. The pause is the door to your next level. Without the pause, your emotions control you. With the pause, you control everything. Your reactions, your decisions, your energy, your relationships, your future. This is the moment where you stop being a prisoner of feelings and become the architect of your responses. Master the pause, and you master yourself. Chapter 4. Detach from the noise. How to stay calm when everything tries to pull you in. There is a simple truth about emotional control. You cannot master your reactions if you are drowning in mental noise. Most people live in a constant state of internal chaos. thoughts spinning, worries stacking, triggers everywhere, pressure from people, expectations, responsibilities, and comparisons, all pulling their attention in different directions. When your mind is noisy, your emotions are unstable. When your emotions are unstable, your reactions are uncontrollable. So, in this chapter, you will learn one of the most powerful principles of emotional mastery: detachment, the discipline of stepping back, mentally, emotionally, and energetically, so nothing can consume you. This skill alone can transform the way you move in the world. Let's go deep. Section 1. What detachment really means. Detachment is not coldness. It is not lack of emotion. It is not a sign of weakness or indifference. Detachment is the ability to stay centered, even while the world tries to pull you in every direction. It means you don't let every situation enter your mind. You don't let every opinion enter your heart. You don't let every problem disturb your peace. It is the mental distance that gives you perspective. Think of it like standing on a mountain and watching a storm below. You can see the chaos, but it does not touch you. You are above it. You are steady. You are in control. This is detachment, and mastering it gives you a level of emotional stability most people never experience. Section 2. Why your mind gets pulled into everything. Let's examine why people overreact so easily. Your mind gets sucked into drama and emotions when you take things personally. You believe every feeling must be acted on. You attach your identity to other people's behavior. You want approval. You fear losing control. You create stories instead of observing situations. Your ego is easily threatened. You think everything needs an instant response. All of these open the door for emotional chaos. Detachment closes that door and locks it. When you detach, you stop absorbing every emotion like a sponge. You stop letting others decide how you feel. You stop feeling responsible for everything around you. And this gives you immense power. Section 3. The 3 levels of detachment. There are 3 levels of detachment that mentally strong people use. Let's break them down. Level 1. Emotional detachment. This means you don't let your feelings dictate your actions. You can feel anger, but not act in anger. You can feel insecurity, but not respond insecurely. You can feel fear, but move forward anyway. Emotional detachment gives you the ability to say, I feel this, but I am not this. This creates mental freedom. Level 2. Situational detachment. This means you don't allow situations to take you out of your mental state. A rude person doesn't ruin your day. A setback doesn't break your spirit. A delay doesn't trigger panic. A mistake doesn't define you. Situations lose their power over you because you don't fuse your identity with them. You remain the same person, whether things go right or wrong. That's true strength. Level 3. Outcome detachment. This is the most advanced level. It means you focus on effort, not on controlling results. You do your best, but you don't collapse emotionally if things don't go perfectly. This removes anxiety. It removes fear of failure. It removes the pressure that makes you react emotionally. When you detach from outcomes, your mind becomes clear, your actions become sharper, and your emotional world becomes stable. Section 4. The technique of stepping back. Here is a powerful method used in psychology and high-performance training. When something triggers you, mentally step back and observe yourself. Not the situation. Yourself. What am I feeling right now? Why did this moment hit me? Is this about now or my past? Is reacting helpful or harmful? What would my highest self do right now? This self-observation creates awareness. And awareness kills emotional chaos. You switch from being inside the emotion to watching the emotion. This separation allows you to control it. Section 5. The power of the silent mind. Here's a truth very few people realize. Emotional control begins with mental silence. If your mind is too loud, your reactions will always be emotional. Silence is not empty. Silence is clarity. Silence is strength. Silence is authority. Practice sitting quietly for a moment when something disturbs you. Don't talk. Don't respond. Don't argue. Don't explain. Don't defend. Just become silent. This silence resets your nervous system. It allows your emotions to settle. It allows your intelligence to rise. It allows you to see the situation as it really is. People who stay silent in heated moments are not weak. They are training control. They are protecting their peace. They are protecting their energy. They are choosing wisdom over impulse. Silence is a weapon. Use it. Section 6. Detachment makes you untouchable. Once you learn to detach, look what happens. People can't manipulate you. The drama can't trap you. Arguments can't shake you. Insults don't define you. The pressure doesn't break you. Fear no longer controls you. The opinions no longer shape your identity. You become emotionally bulletproof. Not because you don't feel anything, but because nothing owns you anymore. You become the calm center in the middle of the storm. People will wonder, how are you so calm? How do things not bother you? How are you never reactive? It's because you mastered the art of stepping back. You mastered the art of choosing peace over chaos. You mastered the art of control. This is the power of detachment. Section 7. How to practice detachment daily. Let's make this practical. Here are daily exercises that build detachment like a muscle. Exercise 1. Respond later. Whenever possible, delay your response by a few minutes or hours. Messages, arguments, work pressure, unexpected problems. Don't react fast. Respond intentionally. This trains your mind to not be controlled by emotion. Exercise 2. Take one deep breath. One slow breath can interrupt an emotional reaction. It gives your logic time to wake up. It grounds your nervous system. It brings you back into control. Exercise 3. Say, this is not about me. Most things aren't personal. Someone's tone, behavior, or mood often reflects their struggles, not yours. Remind yourself of this. It softens your reactions. Exercise 4. Reject the first thought. Your first emotional thought is usually wrong. Your second thought, after observing the situation, is usually wiser. Choose the second thought. Exercise 5. Practice walking away mentally. Even if you stay physically present, mentally step back. Tell yourself, I am observing, not absorbing. This creates emotional distance instantly. Section 8. Detachment gives you your life back. When you practice detachment, your peace increases. Your stress decreases. Your reactions slow down. Your thoughts become clearer. Your decisions become smarter. Your emotional life becomes lighter. You stop living as a slave to every mood, every comment, every situation. You become someone who thinks before acting, someone who stays calm under pressure, someone who carries quiet power. Detachment is freedom. Detachment is strength. Detachment is mental toughness. This is how you build a mind that cannot be easily shaken. Chapter 5. Mastering the Inner War. How to control your thoughts before they control you. If emotional control is the armor, thought control is the sword. Every reaction you regret, every moment you lose control, every time you get overwhelmed, it starts long before the reaction itself. It starts in your thoughts. People think their emotions betray them, but emotions are only the symptoms. The real fight happens in the mind. You can't master your reactions until you master the thoughts that create your reactions. In this chapter, we go deep into the inner battlefield, the war inside your mind, and learn how to take command of it. Section 1. Your thoughts create your emotional reality. We often believe emotions come first. Anger hits. Fear rises. Insecurity appears. Frustration spikes. But none of these appear out of nowhere. Behind every emotion is a thought, a belief, a story, a mental interpretation. Something happens. Then your mind creates a story about it. Then your emotion reacts to the story. Here's the key truth. You don't react to events. You react to the meanings your mind attaches to events. Asterisk, asterisk. This is why two people can experience the same situation and have completely different emotional outcomes. One person interprets a setback as, I'm failing. Another interprets it as, I'm learning. Same situation, different thought. different emotional world. To change your emotional life, you must change your inner narrative. Section 2. The mind's negative bias. Why you think worst first. Your brain has a built-in survival mechanism that focuses on danger, threat, and what could go wrong. This is not your weakness. It is your biology. But in modern life, this survival mechanism becomes a mental prison. You begin overthinking. You imagine negative scenarios. You assume the worst. You predict failure. You expect rejection. You create threats that don't exist. And your emotions respond, as if those imagined threats are real. This is why emotional control requires mental discipline. If you don't shape your thoughts intentionally, your survival brain will shape them for you. And the survival brain is not interested in peace. It is interested in protection. It is always scanning for danger, judgment, and disappointment. To break this cycle, you must learn a powerful rule. My first thought is instinct. My second thought is intelligence. I choose the second. Let's explore this. Section 3. The first thought versus the second thought. Your first thought is your emotional reflex. It is fast, loud, reactive, and often wrong. Examples. First thought, they ignored me. Second thought, maybe they're busy. First thought, I'm failing. Second thought, I'm progressing slowly. First thought, they disrespected me. Second thought, their behavior has nothing to do with me. First thought, this is too hard. Second thought, this is training. If you live by your first thought, you become emotionally unstable. When you start choosing your second thought, you become emotionally unstoppable. This gap between first thought and second thought is where emotional control is born. You must train your mind to pause, examine, and reframe. That is mental toughness. Section 4. The 5 thought patterns that destroy your emotional strength. Let's break down the most common thought traps that create emotional chaos. 1. Catastrophizing. Assuming the worst possible outcome. This will ruin everything. They must hate me. I'm going to fail. This thinking floods your body with fear and panic. 2. Personalizing. Taking everything as a personal attack. They did that because of me. They said that about me. Most of the time, it's not about you at all. 3. Mind reading. Believing you know what others are thinking. He thinks I'm stupid. They think I'm weak. You don't know. Your mind is guessing. 4. Emotional reasoning. Believing your feelings are facts. I feel insecure, so I must be unworthy. I feel scared, so something must be wrong. Feelings are not facts. 5. Overgeneralization. Turning one moment into a lifetime. I failed once, so I always fail. I was rejected, so no one wants me. This thought pattern is mental poison. These thinking traps create emotional instability, not because the situations are bad, but because the interpretations are bad. Your mind can either be your prison or your protection. Let's teach it to protect you. Section 5. The power of neutral thinking. There's a mental technique used by elite athletes, special forces operators, and world-class performers. Neutral thinking. Not positive. Not negative. Neutral. Positive thinking tries to force feel-good lies. Negative thinking creates fear. But neutral thinking deals with reality. Neutral thinking sounds like this. It happened. What's my next intelligent move? I feel triggered. Let me observe the feeling. This situation is stressful, but I can handle it. The moment is hard, but not impossible. Neutral thinking turns emotions into data, not commands. This gives you control. Section 6. Build the thought filter. How to separate useful thoughts from useless ones ***. Here's a technique to filter thoughts like a high-performance mind. Ask yourself 3 questions. Is this thought true? Most emotional thoughts aren't. Is this thought helpful? Even if it feels true, does it serve you? Is this thought within my control? If not, release it. This filter eliminates 80% of emotional overreactions. Because most emotional pain comes from thoughts that aren't true, aren't helpful, aren't in your control. Let go of these, and your emotional world becomes lighter. Section 7. The Inner Command Voice. How to talk to yourself like a leader, not a victim. Your self-talk determines your strength. Weak self-talk. I can't handle this. This always happens to me. I'm losing control. Strong self-talk. I can slow down. I choose my reaction. I am in control of my mind. This moment will not define me. I decide how this ends. You must speak to yourself the way a disciplined, mentally tough leader would. The world cannot break you if your mind is repeating the right commands. Your internal voice must become your anchor. Section 8. How to win the inner war daily. Here are practical tools to take command of your mind every day. Tool 1. Name the thought. Label the thought like a scientist. Oh, that's fear. Oh, that's insecurity. Oh, that's my ego. Naming it reduces its power. Tool 2. Slow the thought down. Imagine the thought is happening in slow motion. This gives you room to analyze instead of react. Tool 3. Challenge the thought. Is this emotion lying to me? It is. Tool 4. Replace the thought. Swap. This is too much. I can handle this in steps. They disrespected me. Their behavior isn't about me. I'm overwhelmed. I will focus on one thing at a time. Tool 5. Redirect attention. Emotions grow where attention goes. Shift your focus to your breath, your posture, the present moment, or the outcome you desire. Instant emotional reset. Section 9. When you control your thoughts, you control your life. Your emotions don't define you. Your thoughts don't control you. You are not your impulses. You are the one observing them. When you learn to direct your mind, this is what separates mentally weak people from mentally unshakable people. Weak minds obey emotions. Strong minds train emotions. Unshakable minds lead emotions. This chapter is the foundation of mental control. Because the truth is simple. Control your thoughts, and your reactions become unstoppable. Control your reactions, and your life becomes unshakable. Master your reactions. Build unshakable emotional control. Continued script, approximate 8 minutes. When you begin mastering your reactions, you will notice something subtle yet powerful. Your mind becomes quieter. Not silent, not empty, just quieter. Most people live with a mind that behaves like an untrained puppy. It runs, jumps, barks, reacts, panics, and chases anything that moves. A random thought appears, your mind chases it. An emotion appears, your mind becomes it. A person acts badly, your mind explodes in reaction. But your path is different. You are learning to train the mind, to command it, to condition it, to discipline it, until eventually you respond with intention rather than emotion. The shift from emotional impulse to calm choice. One day, not today, maybe not tomorrow, but soon, you will experience a moment that changes everything. Someone will try to provoke you. Someone will misunderstand you. Someone will push a boundary. And instead of reacting with frustration or anger, you will simply breathe, observe, and respond with clarity. That moment will feel like unlocking a new level of power. Because emotional control is not loud. It's not dramatic. It's not something you need to announce. It's silent. It's internal. And it's unbreakable. Why most people can't control their reactions? There are 3 reasons most people lose control. They think emotions are commands. They feel angered, they act angry. They feel stressed, they panic. They feel hurt, they attack or shut down. They don't understand that emotions are signals, not orders. They never learned how to pause. Nobody teaches this. Not in school. Not at home. Not in society. The pause is the secret doorway to emotional power. They let external events govern internal reactions. This is the biggest weakness of all. When the world controls your emotions, the world controls you. But that's not your path. You are reclaiming your inner authority. The power of this sacred 3-second pause. Here is one of the most powerful emotional skills you will ever learn. When something triggers you, pause for 3 seconds. That's it. Just 3 seconds. In those 3 seconds, your brain switches from emotional instinct to rational control. Your mind goes from reaction to decision. Your emotions lose dominance. Your strength increases. Most arguments, regrets, and emotional explosions would disappear if people mastered these 3 seconds. Your 3-second pause is not weakness. It is the highest form of power. Because anyone can react, but only a trained mind can pause. When you pause, you change the outcome. Think of any emotional moment. A disrespectful comment. A stressful situation. A tense conversation. A disappointing result. Normally, your mind reacts instantly. But when you pause, everything changes. You step into a higher perspective. You see the situation without distortion. You choose your response with intention. Calmness becomes a strategy. Emotional discipline becomes a weapon. Silence becomes clarity. And clarity becomes control. This is how emotional mastery is built, not in big dramatic events, but in small moments of choosing discipline over impulse. The silence that makes you powerful. Stillness is not emptiness. Stillness is strength. When your emotions are calm, you think better. When your reactions slow down, your decisions sharpen. When your mind is quiet, your intuition wakes up. People will notice the difference. They won't be able to provoke you. They won't be able to pull you into drama. They won't be able to control your state. You become the rare person who stays composed while others unravel. The person who thinks while others panic. The person who leads while others react. This is what unshakable emotional control looks like. Not robotic. Not cold. Not disconnected. Just deeply, silently powerful. The emotion-to-action filter. Here is another simple but life-changing tool. Before you respond, ask your mind one question. Is this reaction based on emotion or intention? If it's emotion, first, breathe, reset. If it's intention, then respond with strength. You begin to realize something profound. Most emotional reactions don't solve problems. They create new ones. Emotional control is not about suppressing your feelings. It's about ensuring that your feelings don't control your actions. Every day is training. Emotional mastery is not built in a single moment. It is built through repetition, through consistency, through daily practice. Every time you pause, every time you breathe, every time you choose intention, your mind becomes stronger. You are training yourself just like an athlete trains their body, but you are training the invisible muscle of emotional discipline. This is how leaders are born. This is how warriors are made. This is how unshakable people are formed. There comes a moment in your journey when you realize something life-changing. You are no longer ruled by emotional storms. Not because your life got easier, not because people suddenly became kinder, but because you became stronger inside. This transformation is subtle at first. You notice that situations that used to irritate you barely touch you now. You respond to disrespect with calm clarity instead of emotional chaos. You make decisions based on logic rather than impulse. And slowly, your life starts operating on a different level. The 80-20 rule of emotional control. Here is a truth most people never understand. 80% of emotional pain comes from reacting to things you could have ignored. A meaningless comment. A rude tone. A temporary inconvenience. Someone else's bad mood. Most emotional reactions are not about the moment. They are about untrained internal habits. When you master the ability to not react to the small things, your mind gains the strength it needs to handle the big things. This is why emotional control is more powerful than motivation, more powerful than intelligence, and more powerful than talent. Because no matter how skilled or smart you are, if emotions control you, life controls you. The internal command center. Imagine you have a control room inside your mind. This room has levers, switches, and monitors representing your emotions, your thoughts, your impulses, your mood, your reactions, your triggers. Most people never step inside this control room. They leave it on autopilot. They let old habits, insecurities, and reactions run the system. But not you. You are becoming the operator. The commander. The one who decides how the mind responds. When a thought appears, you don't automatically believe it. When an emotion rises, you don't automatically act on it. When a trigger hits, you don't automatically react. You pause. You observe. You choose. This is how emotional authority is built. By taking back control of the command center. Turning triggers into training. Here is a powerful mindset shift. Triggers are not threats, they are training sessions. When something annoys you, that's your practice. When someone talks disrespectfully, that's your practice. When plans fall apart, that's your practice. When life becomes inconvenient, that's your practice. Every trigger is an opportunity to strengthen your emotional discipline. Every inconvenience is a chance to train your patience. Every difficult person is helping you sharpen your inner calm. The world becomes your gym. Life becomes your coach. Every moment becomes a mental workout. And slowly, you become emotionally unshakable. The 1% rule of mental calmness. If you improve your emotional control by just 1% each day, your life transforms in ways people will not understand. 1% today. 1% tomorrow. 1% next week. 1% next month. It compounds. You begin to speak more calmly, think more clearly, respond more intelligently, move more strategically, hold yourself with more presence. People feel it when you enter a room. You radiate quiet strength. You carry yourself like someone who cannot be provoked by small things. And that's because emotional control is not just a skill. It's an energy, a presence, a silent authority. The reaction cost formula. Ask yourself this question every time you feel triggered. What is the cost of this reaction? Will it damage your peace? Will it damage your relationships? Will it damage your confidence? Will it damage your progress? Will it damage your future? Most emotional reactions are not worth the price. But here is the truth. You only understand the cost after you gain control. Because when you're controlled by emotions, you can't see the damage they cause. But once you rise above them, you realize how much energy you used to waste. You realize how much peace you used to sacrifice. You realize how much power you used to give away. This realization becomes your new fuel for emotional mastery. The mind that doesn't break. A trained mind does not break under pressure. It bends. It adapts. It adjusts. It responds. Life will still test you. People will still challenge you. Situations will still frustrate you. But you will respond with intelligence, not emotion. You will see clearly. You will act intentionally. You will stay composed when others collapse. This is the mind you are building. This is the strength you are training. This is the discipline you are forging. There is a powerful truth that only a few people ever discover in their lifetime. Your reaction to an event is far more important than the event itself. Most people live as if external events shape their emotions. But the masters of emotional discipline understand something deeper. Events don't shape your life, your response does. This shift in perspective is where emotional freedom begins. Section 1. The space between stimulus and response, 6 minutes. Every situation you face in life has two parts. The stimulus, what happens? The response, how you choose to act. Between those two things, there is a small space, a tiny gap, a quiet pause, a moment of stillness. This space is invisible to those who live on emotional autopilot. But when you begin to train your mind, that space becomes clear. The moment you feel irritation, annoyance, anger, disappointment, jealousy, insecurity, fear, you take one conscious breath. Just one. That single breath creates the gap. The gap gives you awareness. The awareness gives you control. And control gives you freedom. This is the foundation of emotional mastery. The ability to slow down your reactions so they don't control your actions. Most people respond instantly. Instant responses are emotional responses. Instant responses are impulsive responses. Instant responses are reactions driven by survival instincts, not intelligence. But you are choosing to rise above automatic patterns. You are choosing to respond with intention. This single skill can save relationships, preserve opportunities, strengthen your reputation, and protect your peace. The person who controls the gap controls their life. Section 2. Learning to feel without obeying. 6 minutes. You have emotions for a reason. They are not the enemy. They are signals, data, information, feedback. But problems begin when you confuse. I feel this. I must act on this. Emotional control does not mean feeling less. It means feeling intelligently. Here's a simple yet life-changing principle. You are allowed to feel everything, but you are not allowed to obey every feeling. Feel anger, don't act in anger. Feel stress, don't speak through stress. Feel fear, don't decide through fear. Feel sadness, don't collapse into sadness. Feel passion, don't rush through passion. Emotions are waves. They rise. They peak. They fall. They pass. But you remain. Your mind, your values, your discipline, they are constant. Most people don't realize this and react to the peak of the wave. They make decisions while the emotion is at its strongest. That's where regret lives. That's where damage happens. That's where peace is lost. So here is a powerful rule to apply. Never make a decision in the peak of an emotion. Make decisions in the calm after the emotion. That one shift can prevent years of unnecessary pain. You will begin to notice that emotional impulses don't last long. If you simply wait, if you simply breathe, if you simply observe, the emotional force weakens. The intensity dissolves. The mind clears. And suddenly, the reaction you almost made doesn't even feel logical anymore. This is the difference between emotional slavery and emotional mastery. Section 3. Detaching your peace from external chaos. 6 minutes. Here is the next level of mental strength. No one should have the power to control your internal state. Not a rude person. Not a stressful situation. Not an unexpected problem. Not a disrespectful tone. Not someone else's bad mood. Not a delay, a mistake, or a setback. To achieve this level of calm, you need to break one harmful belief. I can only feel good when everything goes right. This belief destroys emotional stability. Because life will never always go right. People will never always act correctly. Situations will never always align with your expectations. So instead, you adopt a new belief. I choose my internal state independent of external chaos. This is quiet power. This is the mindset of people who remain calm under pressure. This is the mindset of leaders, warriors, monks, creators, and high performers. How do you practice this detachment? Here are 3 powerful training methods. 1. Neutral observation. When something bothers you, don't judge it immediately. Don't label it. Don't react. Just observe. Say to yourself, this is interesting. This is a moment to practice. This is just a feeling, not a command. This is an opportunity to stay calm. Observation creates distance. Distance creates control. 2. Don't take things personally. Most of what people do has nothing to do with you. Their frustration is their history. Their anger is their insecurity. Their behavior is their upbringing. Their tone is their mood. Emotional mastery means you don't absorb this. You don't internalize it. You don't make their chaos your identity. You remain stable while they remain unstable. This is how you become the calmest person in the room. 3. Train your mind for discomfort. Life becomes easier when you stop expecting it to be easy. Hard moments are not signs of failure. They are opportunities to build resilience. Every time something goes wrong, you get stronger. Every time someone tests your patience grows. Every time you feel a surge of emotion, your awareness heightens. This mindset transforms your life because you no longer collapse under stress. You grow from it. You become a person who cannot be shaken because you have learned to embrace challenge without reacting. There is a point in your journey where emotional control stops being something you practice and becomes something you are. It becomes a part of your identity, a quiet strength that flows through everything you do. But to reach that point, you must understand one of the most important principles of mental toughness. Your reactions are habits, not accidents. And habits can be unlearned, reshaped, rebuilt, and mastered. Today, you continue building the habits of an unshakable mind. Section 1. The habit of not overrunning your mind, 6 minutes. Most people allow thoughts to run wild in their heads. They don't filter them. They don't examine them. They don't question them. They simply react to every thought that appears. And as a result, their mind becomes a battlefield of chaos. But emotional mastery begins with one realization. Your mind is not supposed to run you. You are supposed to run your mind. Think of your thoughts like guests entering your home. Some are welcome. Some are helpful. Some are destructive. Some are thieves pretending to be friends. But you decide who stays. An untrained mind invites every thought in and allows it to wander freely. A disciplined mind checks the door. You begin asking, is this thought true? Is this thought helpful? Is this thought fueling my peace or draining it? Is this thought from discipline or insecurity? You don't need to think everything you think. You don't need to believe everything your mind says. You don't need to react to every idea or fear that appears. This is the beginning of mental regulation. You stop being a slave to your thoughts. You become the observer. And when you observe your thoughts instead of obeying them, you regain authority over your reactions. Your emotions calm down. Your energy stabilizes. Your decisions sharpen. Because thoughts are the seeds of reactions. Control the thought, and you control the reaction. Section 2. Building the inner voice of strength, 6 minutes. Every person has two inner voices. The emotional voice, loud, reactive, impulsive. The disciplined voice, calm, logical, strategic. Most people let the emotional voice run their lives. But emotional control means strengthening the disciplined voice until it becomes the dominant one. This voice says, slow down. Think before reacting. Don't give your peace away. Stay calm. This moment will pass. Choose intention over impulse. Don't let small things break your focus. You're stronger than this feeling. This voice is your mental compass. How do you build it? You train it the same way a warrior trains instinct. You practice pausing instead of reacting, thinking instead of assuming, breathing instead of exploding, observing instead of absorbing, responding instead of rushing. Every time you choose the disciplined voice over the emotional voice, you strengthen the neural pathways of control. Your mind rewires itself. Your reactions soften. Your aura changes. Your presence grows. People begin to feel your strength not because you are loud or aggressive, but because you are composed, centered, and unfazed. This inner voice becomes your true power. It guides you through conflict. It stabilizes you through stress. It grounds you through uncertainty. It protects you from self-sabotage. And eventually, it becomes louder than your emotions. Section 3. The Art of Being Unreactive in a Reactive World, 6 minutes. Today's world rewards loudness. It rewards instant reactions. It rewards anger, drama, arguments, and impulsive behavior. But high-level emotional control requires going in the opposite direction. Quiet, steady, strategic composure. Look around. Most people speak before thinking, argue before understanding, attack before analyzing, react before breathing, panic before observing. This is why emotional control is so powerful. It makes you stand out. It gives you an advantage. It makes you unpredictable. It protects you from manipulation. It strengthens your influence. Here's why. 1. Calm people cannot be manipulated. When someone tries to provoke you, your calmness disarms them. When someone tries to dominate you, your self-control frustrates them. When someone tries to pull you into drama, your silence weakens their grip. Calmness is not weakness. It's psychological dominance. 2. Calm people make better decisions. When emotions drop, intelligence rises. When impulsiveness fades, clarity emerges. When noise falls, vision sharpens. A calm mind sees what others miss. A calm mind reacts intelligently. A calm mind leads the moment instead of being lost in it. 3. Calm people protect their energy. Every emotional outburst costs energy. Every argument drains you. Every uncontrolled reaction steals peace. When you stop reacting to everything, You stop wasting your life force. You conserve your energy for goals, growth, discipline, purpose, improvement, vision. You stop bleeding energy into worthless moments. For calmness commands respect. People trust the calm person. People follow the calm person. People listen to the calm person. People emulate the calm person. Because calmness signals maturity, stability, intelligence, and inner strength. This is why emotional control doesn't just improve your mood. It transforms your relationships, career, leadership, and life. Conclusion of this section. You are no longer training surface-level discipline. You are training the deepest level of personal power. The ability to remain calm, clear, and controlled. No matter what happens around you. This is the path to mental resilience, emotional strength, quiet confidence, unshakable discipline, true inner peace. Every minute you practice, your mind transforms. Your reactions weaken. Your power grows. You are building a version of yourself few people ever become. Master your reactions. Build unshakable emotional control. Full closing section. There is a moment in every transformation where the journey turns inward, where the noise fades, where the emotions settle, where the mind becomes still, and you begin to truly see yourself. Not the version shaped by fear, not the version shaped by impulse, not the version shaped by reaction, but the version shaped by strength, discipline, and intentional living. This closing chapter is not the end. It is the beginning of the person you are becoming. Section 1. You are no longer who you used to be for minutes. As you reach the end of this journey, you might notice something profound. Your old reactions feel distant. Your past triggers feel weaker. Your emotional storms feel lighter. Your mind feels stronger. You are no longer the person who reacted without thinking, gave their peace away easily, absorbed everyone else's chaos, let situations control their mood, lived on emotional autopilot. You've built something deeper, inner authority, the ability to say, my emotions are mine, my reactions are mine, my peace is mine, and nothing outside of me will ever control me again. This is the quiet confidence of a disciplined mind. This is the strength you've earned. Section 2. Closing the cycle of reactivity. 4 minutes. Every day before this journey, you lived in cycles. Trigger, reaction, regret. Stress, panic, exhaustion. Anger, words, damage. But now you understand the power of the pause. You understand the space between thought and action. You understand the difference between feeling and reacting. You have broken the cycle. You now recognize that not everything deserves your energy. Not every comment needs a response. Not every situation requires your involvement. Not every emotion deserves to be obeyed. You have built the rarest skill. Emotional freedom. Freedom to respond with strategy. Freedom to stay calm under pressure. Freedom to choose clarity over chaos. You are no longer reactive. You are responsive. You are composed. You are intentional. This is mastery. Section 3. Step into the next version of yourself. 4 minutes. The person you are becoming is powerful. Not loud. Not aggressive. Not emotional. But quietly powerful. You will notice it in small moments. When someone tries to provoke you, and you stay calm. When things don't go your way, and you stay centered. When emotions rise, and you breathe instead of breaking. When chaos surrounds you, and you remain still inside. This stillness is your superpower. This discipline is your armor. This calmness is your strength. This clarity is your weapon. This emotional control is your evolution. You are stepping into a version of yourself that very few people ever access. A person who doesn't get dragged into drama, doesn't drown in stress, doesn't crumble under pressure. A person who leads themselves, and because of that, can lead anything. This is the level where your presence speaks louder than your words. Where your decisions shape your future. Where your discipline shapes your identity. Remember this. You don't need anyone's permission to be powerful. Your silence, your patience, your emotional control. These are your new forms of strength. Section 4. The final message. 4 minutes. As this journey closes, you must understand one thing. You have changed. You have grown. You have risen. But now the real test begins. Carrying this discipline into your life. When challenges appear, remember this training. When emotions rise, remember your breath. When people test your patience, remember your strength. When life becomes loud, remember the power of silence. Control is not something you learn once. It is something you practice daily. Every moment is a chance to stay calm. Every trigger is a chance to grow stronger. Every difficulty is a chance to sharpen your discipline. And with time, you will become a person who cannot be shaken. The person who commands their mind. The person who controls their reactions. A person who walks with quiet confidence. A person who is at peace. Not because life is easy, but because you have become powerful. So take a deep breath. Feel the strength in your chest. Feel the clarity in your mind. Feel the discipline in your soul. This is your new identity. Carry it with you. And remember, you are calm. You are strong. You are unshakable. You are in control. This is not the end. This is the beginning of the strongest version of you.